see if I can.
You just hit the down.
There we go. I want to begin, as we in Foundation World always do, with our mission, and just share with those of you who may not be familiar with the Blandin Foundation. We're not the Broadband Foundation. We are committed to strengthening rural Minnesota communities, especially in the Grand Rapids area. We are a place-based foundation, thanks to our founder and donor, C.K. Blandin, who was a entrepreneur, came up the Mississippi River and took ownership of the paper mill there and created the foundation that we now are stewards of. And those of you in the room probably don't need too much introduction about why somebody committed to strengthening rural Minnesota communities, an organization, would be involved in broadband, because it's kind of a no-brainer to us that you got to be plugged into play, and that being part of the global economy is, although it's not sufficient, it's certainly a necessary prerequisite for rural vitality. And so for the last bunch of years, we've been conducting, as part of the public policy program that I manage, a broadband initiative. And we have gone through sort of a number of iterations of this, but have been really focused on a leadership model that believes that local leadership is what makes change possible and happen, and committed to helping local leaders in their places do the visioning and the community development work required to get the political will in place, as we were talking about your experience in Northfield, to make change happen in place. So when the stimulus funding announcement came out, with our mission to strengthen rural Minnesota communities, our experience on the ground, and the fact that we had recently received some significant funds through the Attorney General's office in Minnesota as a result of an Altel settlement to promote broadband utilization in Minnesota, we thought, wow, we're sitting on some dollars that could be used as a match. So match is always a problem in putting together big proposals, but we had some. So, and we thought we've got a credible track record, and so that in service to the communities that we're trying to serve, that we would be missing an opportunity to not step up. The other thing that persuaded us to take this step, we've never gone after federal money before, and had a lot of cautionary conversations about what that would mean for us as an institution, trying to manage that. But we felt that it would, in absence of a state role, and we can maybe talk about that in discussion about why Deed or others in the governor's office didn't play a role in pulling people together and thinking about what we collectively do in response to the NOFA. It's kind of a yawning silence. We stepped up. So one other quick word of context, that as part of the work on our initiative over the past several years, we have developed this vision statement here around ensuring a high quality of life and a globally competitive future, about helping Minnesota intentionally commit to making the investment that we need to be a world-class leader in deployment and use of ultra-high-speed next-generation broadband. And there's a lot of interesting stories we could tell over beer about the wording on here, because we started out with a gigabit vision, and not unlike the task force with a lot of providers on there, we never got there. We couldn't settle on a number, and so when you see this ultra high-speed next generation broadband, that's very intentional language, kind of code for bigger. And so we've watched with some great interest at the work that the task force is doing to try to more fully articulate what a vision might be for Minnesota. But this is the one that that has informed most of the work that we've been doing, and indeed including our application for these NOFA funds. So we